Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to The Camera Adds 10 Pounds. I'm your host, Peter Surs. And before we start, I just want to let you know, if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, please rate, review, share if you're so generous, subscribe if you want to listen to this over and over again. I always forget at the end, so I'm trying to do it up top now. Today, I have a very special guest. I've kind of known this dude for a while, probably a few years now.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna love him. He is he's the world record holder, first of all, which is the first on this podcast. He is a Paralympic athlete, the fastest man on blades.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And he's currently training to be on the U.S. Olympic team. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Blake Leeper.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
What's
thank
up,
you.
man?
What's going on, dude? How you doing?
Can I just tell you this, man? This has nothing to do from the moment I think, like I said, how long have you been working out at that gym?
Probably about 3-4 years.
That's about
now,
right.
About roughly 3-4 years.
You're just a guy that has just a good attitude.
Oh man, thank you.
Like, you have good energy.
No, I appreciate it.
And I don't know if it's just if you've always been that way.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I think about, I have my ups and downs, but being born without legs, I was born with congenital birth defect, fibular hemorrhagia. So from day one.
Say it, what is it?
Fibular hemorrhagia.
Fibular hemorrhagia.
You know how many times I had to Google that and take my time for pronunciation so I could get that right. But it's like basically a congenital birth defect, and to put it in perspective, to be born missing like one hand or one arm or one limb is like 1 in 40,000. To be missing both limbs at birth as a child is basically unheard of. To the point where the day that I was born, the doctors was like getting other doctors to come check me out. They took me to ICU and brought me back to my parents, but brought me back to my parents as a child missing both of his legs.
Wow.
And of course, they had that conversation saying, Mr. and Mrs. Leeper, I'm sorry, but Blake's never going to walk. Blake's never going to run. Blake's never going to play sports. You might want to find things that's easier not only for him, but for you as well. He's going to be in a wheelchair his whole life. Right. So being wrote off from day one, being told that I wasn't going to be able to do this and do that, and now that I'm living my dreams, my wildest dreams of trying to train for the Olympics, or when you see me in the gym lifting, right? And the reason why I feel like I smile so much and I'm so happy because I'm beating the odds, right? Like statistically speaking, I shouldn't be able to do the things that you see me do. Statistically speaking, I shouldn't be able to run. I shouldn't be able to jump. I shouldn't be able to have a smile, statistically speaking, because I have a disability.
Of course.
I should be sad. I should be mad. I should be in a wheelchair. I should be at home, pissed off at life. But that's not the situation. I realized at an early age that, we all deal with issues. Big, bad, small, insignificant, whatever the situation might be. We all have hurdles. We all have challenges. But whatever you put your mind to and magnify, at the end of the day, I don't magnify the fact that I'm missing my legs. I say, I'm missing my legs. Let's figure this out. It is what it is. I have 1,000 other abilities that makes me a special person.
It's so true because like you said, like someone in your condition or just born with your disability, like my dad, for example. My dad is also, he got into a motorcycle accident.
Right.
So he had the chance, they offered him, they're like, either your leg is just going to be just completely mangled and messed up. Like he doesn't have, he can't dorsiflex his leg. But if you saw his leg, it looks like he got attacked by a shark.
Right.
So they gave him an option, like, we can try to put this together, because it was like broken into a million different pieces, or we could cut it off and then you could just have a prosthetic. And he didn't want to do that because my dad was a track person too. But on the flip side of that, he took that and he went the other way.
Yeah.
Like he went into like my dad. You probably don't know my story, but like my dad got into drugs, using, selling, and whatever. So it's like I've seen both ends. Like you have people that take it like, all right, well, this is what I am. I'm not going to be a victim.
Right.
I'm going to go.
Right.
And then you have other people who are like, okay, well, I was dealt this, so now I'm going to feel sorry for myself.
Right.
And now I'm going to do this. And so like I was raised in like kind of with his, and I think that's part of the I know like he was super like abusive.
Right.
Physically, mentally, and as a kid, you don't know any better because it's like dad's an asshole. But then as you get older, you're like, oh, that's why.
that, and it makes sense, and it's tough, you know. I realize, and especially just like things that I realized, like with my disability on the track and off the track, like life is gonna hit you.
Yeah.
Like life is gonna hit you hard. We can not negate that. We can't run from it. But you know, but the reality of it is, it's like, what are you gonna do after you get hit? Like one of my favorite quotes is from the Rocky 5, right?
Oh, Rocky 5.
Yeah, right. Rocky 5
With Tommy Morrison?
Rocky 5 or 6. Which one was he had talking to his son?
Yeah,
he was in the street.
That's Rocky 5.
That's
yeah.
5. It's
Yeah,
talking to the street from the restaurant.
Yeah.
And he was, he's yelling at his son, talking about life is not about how hard you can hit,
How hard you get back up or whatever.
about how hard you can get hit and keep
yeah.
moving forward. How many times can you take hits in life? You know what I mean? Get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm talking about just beat down and still pick up the pieces and keep pushing forward as if you had Olympics coming up, or as if you had the biggest meeting in your life coming up. And it's just that mindset of just saying, I'm going to get through this.
Yeah.
And I realized, like, that's one thing I learned at an early age. Like, and that's what I tell people. My adversity is my advantage.
Yeah.
The fact that I was born without legs, I learned at an early age that as bad as it might get, and it got bad as a kid. Can you imagine being a kid, being born without legs?
I mean, I can't.
Trying to fit in school dances, trying to figure girlfriends out, trying to figure out my life, trying to figure out who I am as a person.
Right.
And it got bad at times, but as bad as it got better.
Yeah.
Because I stayed in it. I didn't give up, and I didn't quit. And, and I think that's the message that I'm trying to preach out. Because imagine if your dad was able to hear my story.
Yeah.
And to say, wow, and they was able to come to him and say, well, we can cut your leg off, but there's legs, and there's Olympics, and there's Paralympics, and you got guys running, but there probably wasn't things out there like that for him to make a decision.
Yeah,
like
we never, like, I mean, we used to talk about, like, we can talk now, but it would be like talking to, like, my dad's, his brain's kind of fried now, so it's just different now. Like, it's a very basic conversation, but yeah, like, he could have probably done something, but he kind of just, like, he worked and stuff, like, for a long time, and he had just a normal job, but I feel like it was always part of, like, his escape, like, why he got into drugs and stuff was because he just had this whole, like, just regret and whatever, and
and using an excuse, and that's the unfortunate part, because and I tell people all the time, my biggest disability is not the fact that I'm missing my legs. My biggest disability is what people assume what I can and cannot do because I'm missing my legs.
Right.
You know what I mean? I see the stares. I see the looks.
Of course.
I see the, you know what I mean? The people talking behind my back. I see the, the gestures that people have towards me because I'm a double leg amputee. So I can only imagine what somebody like your father, who had a traumatic, you know what I mean? A tragic injury and just overnight had to be this person, and the stares and the looks and then this, where he couldn't probably overcome the fact that, look, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, and that's, honestly, I say that's my blessing, is that because I was born like this, I never had time to compare.
Yeah.
Right? Never had time to be like, man, if I had my legs, I'd be able to dunk, right?
Yeah.
Or if I had my legs, I would be able, like, or when I had my legs, or back in the day when I had my legs, man, I was awesome. Like, honestly, I never had my legs to lose.
Right.
It is what it is. This is who I am as a person.
So I'm sorry.
No,
sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so, like, and obviously you were born, without legs. How far into your life did you get, like, your prosthetics, or, like, was it something like you have to learn how to walk at some point? And
yeah. So actually, I was born missing both of my legs, at birth, but they had me walking on prosthetic legs at 9 months.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, dude. And you have to understand, this is
people can't walk in 9 months period.
Yeah,
with,
like 9.
with legs.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I was like taking the trend. I had an older brother who was 2 years older than me. So my parents kind of knew, like, okay, at 9 months he should be up walking. You know what I mean? At 12 months he should be doing this. And so they knew the trend. So they was pushing for those dates and those numbers. Specifically with me, given the fact that I had disability. So we was experimenting, going to doctors, Shriners, hospitals, going in and out, trying legs. So that by the time I got to 9 to 10 months, I was up, standing, and walking on my own. So I don't even remember a period to where it was like, I didn't have my legs. Like, from day one, I remember I was up and walking on my prosthetic legs, and they became one. Like it was me. They were me. Like, if my leg fell off, I would run over and grab it, put it back on, and keep pushing forward, because that was, like, my body part that I owned.
Yeah. And so then, like, you played sports as a kid at some point.
Yes.
Like, have you always played sports?
I did. I didn't get into track and field until late into life. I was like 18, 19 years old.
Oh, really? That late?
Yeah, I was super late.
Oh, wow.
I was really late. But playing sports like basketball and baseball was my two favorite sports
Okay.
that I grew up playing.
Because you grew up in Tennessee,
Yeah,
right?
East Tennessee. So basketball, baseball, and football too. But my mom given the fact she was like, if your leg falls off in a football game, you'd freak out the other opponents and me. So you cannot play football. So I was like, all right, mom, I'll do basketball. I'll do baseball. And I love sports. That's one reason I fell in love with sports. Because I remember like that one game where like, you know, I've been pitied my whole life, right? Or people felt sorry for me my whole life, but it was like the fourth quarter, last second shot, and the guy that I was guarding didn't care about my disability, right? They cared about winning the game. Or when we're on the court and we're battling the best team, they don't care. I mean, they really don't care about my disability in that moment,
right?
Because they care about winning,
right?
And all that negates the fact that what I'm dealing with and the pity and the sorry goes away. I fell in love with that.
Okay.
Like I was like, wow, this feels good. Like it's win, lose, who is the best. Legs, no legs. It's for basketball, it's who can get the most baskets, and for baseball, who score the most runs and have the best defense. Like I love that. It didn't matter the fact that I was missing my legs.
Right.
And I fell in love with that feeling, and I used that to gain respect within the community. To say, hey, if I'm one of the best baseball T-ballers or basketball players in the community, respect me in the classroom. Respect me when I'm walking through the hallways. Don't treat me no different when you see me off the court or off the baseball field. And that just really fed me to be the best athlete that I possibly can be, because I could use that to say if I'm one of the best athletes on the baseball field, the basketball court, I could be one of the smartest people in the classroom.
Yeah.
To where, because you have to understand, because of my physical disability, they tried to put me in special needs from day one.
Oh, no shit.
In the school system.
Yeah.
Because I was going to be a burden on everybody else. I was going to be a burden on the teachers. I was going to be a burden on the students. It's going to be too much. But if I'm knocking dingers out at the baseball field or dropping 20 and 10 on the court, then the people have that aha moment. It's like, oh, Blake is just as normal as is like us. You know what I mean? People say, oh, he's just like us.
Right.
Like, and as offensive as it might sound or whatever, like I love that. Because it's an aha moment, like, wow, he lives just as normal as anybody else. He just does it maybe a little bit different.
Right. I mean, that's what I remember. Just like when I first saw you in the gym, it's like, well, here's this dude in the gym, and yeah, like he has no legs, but he's smiling, he's saying hi to everybody, he's introducing himself, but he's also working out. And for me, it's like I always tell people, like, whatever your excuses are, like just fucking take care of your body. Because we only get one body.
That's it.
You know, science has changed so much over the last few years that like I'm 40.
Yeah.
And like when my dad was 40, for example, like,
Man.
you know, he was smoking, he was drinking, and he looked awful.
Yeah.
And like me at my age, like I look way better than my dad, and a lot better than a lot of people at 40. And I'm always telling people, like, just don't have excuses. Just take care of yourself. Like everyone, I want to lose weight. I want to do this. It's like, okay, well, we were just Alex and I were just talking about it earlier. Like, stop eating sugar. Stop eating this. Like, do these things. Work out. You know, you don't have to work out as much as me.
Right.
But like, just go 3 or 4 times a week, and then, you know, here you are in the gym. You're like, this dude doesn't even have any fucking legs. Like, what's wrong with you?
What's going on? But the reality of it is, because I have no legs, it's the reason why I don't have any excuses.
Right.
Because I realized at an early age, like, okay, so imagine if I woke up in the morning and the sun setting, it's like 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, I pour me a cup of coffee and get my pen and pad out and start complaining and writing down everything that's wrong in my life. Oh, I'm born without legs. My legs are swollen, or, you know what I mean? I have a sore on this, and this is wrong, and that's wrong, and oh, poor me, and this and that. Right, and which would be legit, and people
would be like, of course,
I understand that you're born without legs. By the time the sun is rising, I would still be there when the sun is setting, complaining, right, about all the things and how unfair life is, and oh, woe is me, and this isn't. Who have I helped? What have I got done? What have I accomplished? I've gotten my, you know what I mean, I've been able to complain and get that out, but what have I physically put forth into this universe, into this life, into my life, or to somebody else's life? Nothing at all. So I choose the latter, right? Which the latter is to put a smile on my face, right? Accept my flaws and all, and say, you know what? It is what it is. Let's go make the best out of today. Change my mindset, change my perception, and be thankful. Instead of thinking about all the negative things, think about all the positive things. Well, I do have prosthetic legs and I have the best. And, I am able to go to a gym and train and I am walking today. I am breathing today. And then you start, instead of thinking about all the negativity, you start thinking about all the positivity and start speaking that into existence. And we manifest our own destiny. Every day that I wake up, I tell myself I'm going to walk. Every day that I wake up, I tell myself I'm going to run. Every day that I wake up, I'm going to have a good day. I manifest that. I speak that into existence, and I create my own reality. And it's out there. People can laugh at it. They can hate on it. They can talk about it. But one thing they cannot do is take it away. And that's out there into the universe, and I slowly start conforming to that. So I think, for me, it's just that's the only alternative is to think positive.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and even in the negative situations, right? Thinking positive, flipping it and saying, I'm going through this for a reason. Like, this is bad, but it's because something big is on the other side of the door. This is bad because I'm building myself up for the next mission. Still positive.
Right.
Like, it's still, you can always flip it. You can always put a smile on your face.
Yeah, it's so like cliche, to be like kind of like everything happens for a reason, or like it could always be worse. But it's also true.
It's true.
Like you can't. Like I grew up in the hood. My fucking dad, beat the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Like there's drive-bys in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like dudes that I grew up with ended up in jail and this, and it's like, and then I chose a profession, comedy, where it's like so hard.
Right.
And I get rejected all the time, but that at the same time, I get opportunities to prove myself, and I book work and I do this, and it's like, I'm living my dream as well.
Yes.
And it's like I could easily, sulk on all the bad shit that's happened.
Right.
And my mom died too when I was 20.
Right.
And it's like I've been through all this shit, but at the same time, it's like there's so much more. Like I'm not gonna let that affect what I want to do in life.
Yeah.
Like I just don't understand people that. I get it, but it's just like you could choose to not be a victim in your circumstances.
Right. And I feel like that's a version of being woke, that level of awareness of saying, like, I do have control over my life. The people that kind of just walk through life and saying that life controls them, and for me, I tell, like, people wake up in the morning and some people they're as soon as the alarm goes off, they're pissed off. Right. Oh, fuck, the alarm's off, and they click snooze. Then it goes off again, and it pisses them off even more. So they jump up, and they're mad on the way to the bathroom, right? And they're mad when they're brushing their teeth, right? They're mad when they get in the car. They on the way to work. They're in traffic. They're pissed off even more, right? They're pissed off when they work because their coworker is an imbecile.
Or they have a shitty job that they hate.
They have a shitty job they hate. They're pissed off. So by the time they get home, they're still pissed off. Probably when they get home, they watch the rerun of Friends or whatever show they've been binging. That kind of gets them a little lighter day. It might change it around. But for me, imagine, I wake up in the morning, first thing I have to do, I have to drop to the ground and put my legs on. And right then and there, it puts it in perspective for me. So wherever, how bad the dream may have been, or how bad the day, was the day before, how bad I might be feeling in my mind, it changes immediately, because I come to a reality like, wow, I shouldn't be able to do this. So from the second I stand back up, I realize I shouldn't be able to do this. Walking to the bathroom, I shouldn't be able to do this. I feel healthy. Nothing's sore right now. Nothing feels bad right now. I feel great. I shouldn't be able to do this. A smile is immediately on my face. Right. And that's where, and I'm thankful for that, right? That's the blessing for me, is to have that perception. But that perception comes from being born without legs. That perception comes from something where somebody would be like, how terrible it must be being born without legs. And I'm like, nah, this is the blessing. So that's why I keep, I reiterate to people who's going through tough times, trials, or tribulations, or a hard part in their life, your adversity that you're facing is your advantage. Yeah. Because when you're put in tough situations, you do supernatural things. Our brain is so magical that if you'll figure it out. Yeah. And when you're put in tough situations, if you do not quit, you'll figure it out. Then once you get through that, whatever you go through from that point, you'll have those supernatural abilities that you gain from that adversity. Yeah. So dive straight head into whatever you're running from or afraid from, because that's really your strength. Yeah.
That's what David Goggins.
Yeah.
He talks about about building those calluses.
Yes.
It's like you got to callus like in your hands when you're doing stuff, but like you got to callus your mind.
Yes.
You got to push yourself through those, and that's I talk, and it's also cliche, but I always talk about it. It's like, the adversity. Like I played sports. I played baseball my whole life. And I think sports is important, for everybody, because it teaches you adversity. Yes. You know,
Yes.
because no matter what, you can get participation trophies or whatever, but we saw you go 0 for 5, or we saw you guys
You
lose.
took a hard L, man.
Yeah, we saw you to go lose 42 to
Oh,
nothing. Like, you
man.
can't participation trophy or not. Like,
That's
but you learn from that.
do.
Like you
You
learn
do.
that like you can work hard
Right.
and practice, and people will still be better than you.
Yes,
Which
yes.
is a hard reality for some people.
Yes.
You know, you learn that like you can come from different walks of life from people,
Right.
and then still work with that person towards a common goal. Like
Right.
you learn how to work with others. That like, okay, we don't have to be best friends,
Right.
but we're on this team, and our goal is to win this game or this track, whatever.
Yeah, whatever it is.
And then we go our separate ways, but like we're working together to work towards this goal. And like there's so many parallels where I tell people, it's like, yeah, like my fitness has always been like, whether I'm going through something bad, like I could always, okay, I'm gonna go blow off some steam at the gym.
Yeah.
Or there's that discipline, like I was talking about
Yeah.
with my last guest, of okay, I'm gonna wake up, I'm tired, whatever. Like I had a bad night, I had a shitty show last night. I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna get after gym, and then I'm gonna go do whatever else I have to do. And that helps me because in comedy especially,
Right.
there's like I could probably go through my email right now. Let's just for fun and see if I got a rejection email. Because I get them like all the time.
Yeah.
But for
That's
every,
it.
oh wait, I was gonna say, did I get one? No,
Oh, no.
I thought I did. But it's like it's perseverance,
Yes,
So
it
like
is.
I have that I have the mental, I guess threshold to be able to push myself in the gym. Like I don't. I'll work with trainers and whatever, but like I'm pretty self motivated. I can do
Yeah.
everything on my own. And I can push myself, and I know my limits, but I can push past my limits, and I just have that within me to do it. And I feel like that discipline translates to like the hours I spend emailing people that never email me back,
Right.
and reaching out to different people, and just all these different things. It's like, it's cliche, but it does go hand in hand. Like the adversity that I have to deal with in sports and fitness helps me with
Ooh.
my career stuff.
It does.
You know?
Absolutely.
Like for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what, that's one of the things I love with training for me going on the track, right?
Uh-huh.
And I tell people, like, being on the medal stand, don't get me wrong, being on the medal stand, breaking world records, being called the fastest man on blades, and doing interviews and stuff,
I love how you just said that nonchalantly. We're gonna get to that later.
Yeah, we're
but
gonna like, you know what I mean? It's fun,
Yeah.
right? But the reality of it is, you can only watch that show or that YouTube clip of yourself so many times.
Like how many
right?
times?
Like
I
how
feel
many?
like-
I mean,
I feel
I've
like I
watched
watch it a lot.
I watch it a lot, but then it gets old, right?
Yeah.
How many times a day you can have it on repeat, right?
Yeah.
So, but the feeling, right? The feeling that lasts for me, right, is when I'm in a workout. You know what I mean? For example, I have 8 200s, and I'm on the fifth 200, and I have 3 more, and my body physically is depleted, and I'm tired, and I don't know how I'm gonna get through these last 3 at the pace that I've been running at. That's why I have this mental conversation with myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? And say, come on, Blake. Okay, we have 3 more, so let's get through this first. And once you get through this one, you only have 2 more. Then the last, start going back forward. After the last 2, you only have 1 more. And then once you get to the last one, it's only one more. Then have that mental conversation with myself, and I'm getting stronger. And I physically battle through and fight through, mentally and physically battle through to finish the workout. Right? The workout's over. That feeling that I get after I finish the workout, I conquered something today. Oh, I conquered something. I bettered myself. I beat what my body. I made myself stronger. I made myself smarter, and I learned more about myself, and I pushed the limits. Right? It's not really. I didn't get paid for it.
Right.
When nobody over here, oh, that was amazing, Blake. I can't believe nobody was there to applaud me, but me. I knew mentally and physically and spiritually, I rose to another level that day, and that can be taken aback. That's one of the greatest films in the world, and that's something we could use. Like you said, and that rolls over. If I'm doing that on the track, then I'm doing that in my meetings. I'm doing that in my emails. I'm doing that with my auditions. I'm doing that with my.
you going on auditions too?
Yeah, I'm doing commercials. More
All right.
commercials.
Okay.
Yeah, more commercials. I'm not there yet. But just
good for you, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get out there, but like you said, that pushing through and hearing that rejection, but still waking up the next day.
Yeah.
Right, with that same motivation, the same drive, the same mindset, I feel like that's the difference between making it or not.
Right.
Like that's gonna be the difference.
I agree, man.
That's gonna be
And like I said, I know it sounds cliche to people, but I'm like, no, there's a definite reason. Like with comedy, for example, like it's a tough. It's just tough business, but
Right.
like just like being on the road a lot.
Right.
I gotta fly a lot. I gotta drive a lot. I'm in hotels. I'm in.
Right.
Cheap, like some comedy clubs have like houses where we're stay at, but it's like it's nonstop being on the road all the time.
Yeah.
And if I didn't take care of myself, I would probably like that lifestyle
Would eat you up.
lends itself to like, you know, you're lonely,
Right.
you probably, you know, a lot of guys drink and do
Right.
drugs and whatever, and it's like I don't do any of that stuff. And it's partly because, you know, my health is important to me,
Right.
you know. So yeah. So you didn't start doing track till you were 18?
Yeah, I was 18 years
And
old.
you're what?
I'm 30 now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm 30
No
now. So
shit.
yeah, I've been in the game for 12 years now. I guess I'm a vet. I mean, consider
I
like
mean, 12 years, but
I mean,
yeah.
age-wise, I'm considered a vet, but like experience, yeah, I'm a rookie.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
it was crazy. You know, like playing baseball and basketball. I always loved sports, but the prosthetics that I had were so just clanky and big and heavy. It didn't allow me to sprint. It didn't allow me to run fast. I'm not stupid. I'm not gonna go to the track meet and put on spikes and take last. Like
Right.
I get it. I ran middle school cross country to
Okay.
stay in shape for baseball. And I would take dead last in all the races because I didn't have blades then. I just had regular prosthetic legs, and then
Okay.
we had to run like 2 miles
Right.
in the races, and I would just like trot and just try to finish the race. You know what I mean? And then like it wasn't until my freshman year, I never forget. I was in my freshman year in University of Tennessee watching ESPN.
University of Tennessee
Go
Volunteers?
Vols, go Vols,
Okay.
yes, go Vols. And
David Price,
yeah,
shout out.
and
Right? He went to he went.
yeah, I
David
think so.
Price.
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah, yeah.
We had to fact check that.
No, I'm sorry. David Price went to Vandy. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm
he
sorry.
did go to
I'm
Vandy.
sorry. I'm
That's-
sorry. Yeah,
we-
yeah. He went to
We
Vandy.
wanted to
though.
claim him, right?
Todd
but-
Helton went to
Yeah,
Tennessee.
Todd did. I know
Yeah.
for a fact Todd did. Yes, and Willie Galt, right?
And Peyton Manning.
And Peyton. Oh, come on,
Yeah.
yeah, Peyton's legendary, right? But I remember in my freshman year, Oscar Pistorius pops up on TV. And he ran, but this is when he was in the 2008 Paralympic Games. He ran 100 meters, 200 meters, 400 meters. Pre all of where he's in
Got
this
it,
current
of course.
situation now. This is when he was on his way up, he was on
Okay.
his rise up. This was before the Olympics and everything.
Got it.
He ran the Paralympics, but ESPN highlighted it, and they was like, this double leg amputee to gold medals in all of his events. It's pretty amazing. He made 6 on the top 10. They went back to basketball. But me seeing a Blade Runner, and it was in the Bird's Nest,
Yeah.
2008, 90,000 people were supporting and cheering, and I was like, holy shit, there's something for me. Like this is it. Like this is what I've been envisioned. This is what I've been seeing. This is what I've been praying on. This is it. And so I dropped my bowl of cereal, got on the phone, started MySpacing people about, man, this is who I am. I've seen Oscar run. I'm interested. I never ran a day in my life. I'm athletic, but I need the blades. And I knew something that he had that I didn't have, and it was blades.
Okay.
And not even running a day in my life, not even understanding what it was, started reaching out, have this crazy faith of belief that this is where I was supposed to be at. Like this is what I was supposed to do in my life. And within a year, I got my first pair of running legs, and within 2 years, I started competing, and but 2.5 years in, I tied Oscar's world record.
No
So
shit.
I got the legs in 2009, and by 2011, going to 2012, I tied his world record in 100 meters.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I was ranked second going into 2012 Paralympic Games.
Like how? Okay, I'm just okay to just. It's already remarkable.
Yeah.
But like to not have been like a trained sprinter,
Right.
and then go through to be like how much time did you have to?
It was so like I went through phases. It was phases because you understand I play basketball.
Right.
So playing basketball and baseball, when we run, it's because you're in trouble. Like
Right.
you know what I mean. You don't run. You don't show
Right.
like. And for track, you show up to run.
Right.
I don't think people really understand that. Like,
Yeah.
Our practice is running from.
Yeah, you do like like you said, 800, 200s, or
800,
whatever.
200s, 100 meters sprints back and forth,
Right.
40 meters. So I just had to I never forget my first track meet ever. I went to one track meet. I was like going to the track with my dad to practice, and he would have his phone. He would like start. We didn't even know what the 100 meters were.
Right.
I just got these blades, these like really expensive $20,000, $30,000 blades, and I want to try them out. So we're just testing things out, and he's like timing me and like trying to figure it out. We didn't know. I go to my first meet, and I win my first meet ever, and I qualified to go to Brazil for my second meet ever.
No way.
But when I went to Brazil, I was with the Olympic Paralympic team. So they had workouts, regiments, eating. Like it was real Olympic athletes. So they took me through the first warm up drills, and I thought it was the workout, and so I'm just
Yeah.
like going hard, just like trying to impress everybody, trying to impress the coaches, and then we get done for an hour, warming up for an hour, and then I was like, okay, you ready for the workout? I was dead. I was like, there's more, and that's what it is. It's like there's levels of just understanding. Like you have to. There's dynamic stretching, A skips, B skips, just as a track and Olympic runner to get your body primed and prepped to sprint at high velocities at the highest level. It takes hours and hours for a 10-minute workout, which is just crazy. Yeah, which is crazy.
So how much time? Like what? How long is an actual like just track workout itself?
I mean, the track workout itself could take 10, 15, 20 minutes.
Okay.
You know, if that, depending on what type of workout it is, with the rest, recovery, how fast we're running, the intensity of the run, and the distance of the run. So if we'll do a 300, we'll take 4 or 5 minutes, 6 minutes rest, do another 300. Or we'll do a 2, the bounce 2s that I do, it's 90 seconds rest. And then we jog back to the line and run it again.
So 200 flat out, and then rest 90 seconds, and then another 200.
It's
and you do it like 8 times?
8 times,
no
back
way.
to back to back to back. That's how I know I'm in shape. But I mean, you have to understand, but when I first got my legs, and this is the thing too, like when I first got my blades, I was at the University of Tennessee. I started playing around a little bit, figuring out, went to Brazil and over the summer, realized I had an opportunity. I dropped out of University of Tennessee, moved to California, and I started training full time at the Olympic Training Center in San Diego. And that was a hard conversation with my mother and father, given the fact that I was pre-med. I wanted to become a doctor. I got some blades within a year. I'm like, all right, I'm going to California, guys. Deuces. And I'm out. And they, of course, told me no. And they did not agree with me at first, right? You know what I mean? Go be a doctor. Take the safe route. You know what I mean? We're so invested in it. But it was just something in my heart and my gut and in my mind. I was like, I felt at peace. And I felt like this is where I need to be when I had my blades on. Like I was in a classroom and I had organic chemistry and stuff and labs, and I was just
the worst class ever is organic chemistry.
you know.
I mean, I studied kinesiology, so it's like the worst class.
And I was just like in my labs, and I was like miserable, and I was like, this is not where I need to be. I need to be in California on these blades, training for the Paralympic Games, even though I just got them a year ago. Got the flight one way, booked it, moved out there. And then that's when being around Olympians, right? I was around, the rowing team. I was around the BMX team. I was around all the track and field athletes, the lifters, like that. They would bring in camps of Olympians prepping for the Olympic Games. Being around them, seeing what they ate, seeing their regimen, seeing their schedule, right? There was clocks at the Olympic Training Center that told you the countdown, the days, the hours, the minutes to the Olympic Games, right? To let you know, do not forget what's coming up, even though we're 6-7 months out. The mindset, the energy, right, of being. Cause I'm coming out of college life, drinking every day, partying every day, right? I'm having fun. I'm 20 years old, right? But they're asking me to be one of the fastest Paralympians in the world. So being in that atmosphere really kind of prepped me to kind of get ready for the 2012 Paralympic Games, where I did take a silver and bronze and compete against Oscar Pistorius. And that was like the stepping stone to where I realized, like, wow, I can make a career out of this, which was pretty cool.
You got silver medal in your first Olympic.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes, it is. It is. I took a silver, actually, so I took a silver and a bronze in my first, Paralympic Games. And honestly, I wasn't ready. I was not ready. It happened so fast, and trying to catch up, I invested so much into these Paralympic Games because I was so behind, right? I was so behind, and being around these Olympians, like I didn't even have clothes to wear to the track to practice every day. So I never practiced every day. So I had to go to Walmart and buy spandex before I was even sponsored, right? To get so I can make sure I have different clothes every day at practice because I never trained every day like that, right? So 2 years in, a year out, 12 months out, 13 months out, I'm all in, right? I'm all in. I don't go home. I don't go home for Christmas. You know what I mean? I'm focused on the Paralympic Games. What happened, though, I didn't plan after the Paralympic Games. And some things that some athletes go through is called the Olympic depression. So where I've invested my whole life and everything into these Olympics. I did great. I took a silver and a bronze, but it was over. It was over. And I had nothing to stand for. I had nothing to show for. I had my medals, and I had the congratulations, but I was in a deep, dark place. And I was I almost went into this depression. And I started partying a lot. I kind of kept it copacetic, you know what I mean, on top of the ground where I could still keep the smile on my face, but I was miserable down low because I didn't plan after that. Right. It came and it went, and it got to the point where I was drinking every day. I was partying every day. You know what I mean? And the off season came, and the season came back again, and I wasn't ready. And then I started hanging around with the wrong people. making bad decisions until it got bad. And it got bad in 2015. I showed up at national championships and I broke my American record and I tested positive for cocaine.
Oh, that's really bad.
Got really bad.
Well, I mean, in your defense, I've never done cocaine, but I mean that's part of living, I guess.
It is
for some people.
It is.
But when you're an Olympic athlete,
yes,
they test you for all that stuff.
Yes,
so.
and testing positive. Of course, it went public. Breaking news in Kingsport, Tennessee, my hometown, where I'm the hometown hero. Paralympic athlete Blake Leeper tested positive for cocaine. Right. So then I go into this after that happened. That's basically my rock bottom. After understanding I was
2015.
2015. Now June of 2015.
Okay.
You have to understand I was sponsored. I had leg sponsorships. So I lost my legs because they were sponsoring, giving me legs. So going through this, I was battling back, and I kind of went back to the Olympic Committee and apologized or the U.S. Olympic Committee, and I was able to do a deal. It was like so hopefully within a year, if I clean up and sober up, go through a 12-step program, and I was drug testing 3 times a week. I was drug testing 3 times a week for a full year. Passed every drug test.
They take your pee?
Yeah, take my pee.
They got to go in there with you?
Yeah, go in there with me, look at it, temperature, all that stuff. And I clean up, I sober up, I get my life back on track. They'll let me compete in 2016 Paralympic Games, right? So I was like, deal. That's the best deal. My life gets better, and I get to get back on the track, right?
Yeah.
And having the ability to run, right? The one thing that I felt free in, right? I felt free when I put my blades on. I felt like nothing mattered. That ability was taken away because I wanted to have fun and party, and I couldn't. I lost myself in the moment, right? I made a bad decision. That ability was taken away from me, so I had to fight back to gain that ability back, right? When no money in the bank account, right? Like when I talk about when bad shit happens to you and bad things happen to you, what are you gonna do right after that, right? I had that aha moment, like all that stuff you've been talking about to other people, Blake. You got to apply that to your life now. Now let's put your hard hat on. Let's go to work. Right, so I go to work. I start training hard. That's why I moved up to LA. I focus. I get into a new training group. I sober up. I'm all in. Right, I'm all in to the point. In 2016 Paralympic trials, I get the phone call and I get to go to trials. I go run, break the American record.
That's right.
Right, I break the American record. I'm on my way to 2016. I get a new dog. And me and my girlfriend said he just got a new dog. We name him Rio because they's like Blake Leeper made the Paralympic team. Rio, we're going to Rio Olympics. 2 weeks before I get to go, I get a phone call from my lawyers saying that the International Olympic Committee did not agree with the deal that I did, and they will not allow me to run in the 2016 Paralympic Games. Yeah, that was a tough pill to swallow because you ever been all in, like just all in, and sometimes I feel like we all sabotage a situation just a little bit. You know what I mean? Whether we know it or not, just so because if it doesn't go right, then we'll know like it didn't go right because I messed that up.
It's called success fail syndrome.
Yes.
Where it's like say like people do it with like acting or whatever. It's like they don't give it their 100% so that if they don't make it and if they don't reach success at that, they could subconsciously whatever or tell themselves, well, I didn't make it because I really didn't, because they're too afraid to go all in.
Yeah, right.
That it gives them like that excuse that like, well, I didn't go all in, so that's why I didn't make it.
Yeah, and I did that my whole life. Whether I knew it or not, I did that my whole life. This was one of the first times I had a choice. I had to be all in because I made such a terrible mistake to try to now I had to get back. I was all in, and it still didn't work. Oh, that hurt. That's something I needed to feel. Like I needed to feel that for the first time in my life. That even though I did everything right, it still didn't. Because we always think, man, if I do everything right, life is going to work out. Right. False. That is so false.
For sure.
And it didn't work out for me. And once again, I found myself not going to the Paralympic Games with a dog named Rio. Right. I never forget not going to Rio. I never forget seeing my teammates and my friends walking into the Olympic Stadium. Yeah. Right. I'm in my room watching them, knowing I was supposed to be there. Right. And I sat in my room for 3 days straight. Right. Didn't put my legs on. I was sick. I didn't drink. I was cool. I was just in my room in this deep depression. I had to do an interview with People's Magazine, and I never forget. I met him at the hotel, and we were sitting in the lobby. We were talking, and the Olympics pop up, and as he interviewed me, I'm watching some of my teammates compete, and it just like dawned on me, and it was like, damn, Blake, if you quit right now, you can go back You can go back and drink. You can go back and party. You can go back home. Like it's granted. Once again, it'd be granted because people would understand
Right.
that
Yeah.
what you've been through is tough. So you could quit.
You get a pass.
You get a pass.
Yeah.
Again, you get a pass. But I got past my legs. I didn't take it. And I got that. And then sitting there, I'm thinking like, you know what? If I quit right now, which I thought about quitting, right? I thought about quitting from running, quitting all that. Cause I felt bamboozled, embarrassed, foolish, right? Thought about quitting, and I was like, then they would win.
Of course.
That's when they would win. But I was like, if I don't quit and keep pushing, like this is a conversation I had myself. Like even though I know all these, these mantras and these quotes, like this is a conversation I had to have with myself. Like, Blake, do not quit. If you show up the next day and keep practicing, guess what? If you show up next year and the next year and the next year and the next race and the next race, they're going to have to accept you. And you work so hard to where they are praising you instead of talking bad about you. So that's what I did. I went back to work and I trained my ass off for 2 years straight. To the next year in 2017, I qualified for national championships. I was the first double-leg amputee ever to qualify for national championships. I break Oscar's world record. The next year in 2018, I break my world record, and I'm the first amputee ever to run 44 seconds. In the 400 meters, I go 44. Period.
Yeah.
And then this year in 2019, I break that world record and take 5th at national championships, being the 6th fastest runner in the world. And so that period. That's not, legs or no legs. Yeah. It's not Paralympics. It's not saying the disabled community. I fight for the disabled community. This is the fastest runners in the world, legs or no legs, that will be in the Olympic Games, and I'm ranked 6th.
That's crazy.
I'm ranked 6th, right?
That's crazy.
I'm ranked 6th, but I give it credit to all the adversity that I went through, the ups and downs, like that suspension. You know what I mean? When at one point I was like, damn, this is probably the worst thing that ever was going to happen to my life. To where now I'm like, you know what? That's probably the best thing that ever happened to my life.
Yeah.
Like for real. Because I wouldn't have got focused. I wouldn't have got as serious. I wouldn't have this mindset that I would have now if I didn't go through that downfall and had to build myself back up again. The adversity that you face, right? You get through it. You get through it. And once you get through it, what I'm dealing with now, the fact that I'm back on the track and I'm breaking records and I'm the 6th fastest man in the world and the fastest amputee in the world, the Olympic Committee is saying I have an unfair advantage on my blades.
Oh yeah, I read about this. Like they're too long or something.
Yeah,
right?
they're saying they're too long. They're this, they're that. They're coming up with all.
So there's like an asterisk next to your.
So they're not calculating my times as we speak. Even though I should have been in Doha this year competing at World Championships for the United States of America, they couldn't approve my blades in time. They have a technical report. Once again, I'm in it. But what I went through in the past, dude, what I went through in the past, this right here,
is nothing.
Oh, come on, man. It got bad and dark in the past. You know what I mean? I battled through that. So whatever little curveballs or whatever situations they're throwing to me, that's why I'm saying life prepares you for your next mission.
Yeah.
Like what you're going to today is preparing you for tomorrow, not even knowing it. Now you probably question the universe, God, life, saying, why am I going through this? But they're taking you through that to prep you for the bigger mission. Now understanding in 2015, it was a national championship for Paralympics going to a world championships that nobody even knew about, right? It really, the value of that didn't matter, but the fact that I was suspended in that moment was the trajectory of my life. That's what changed my life. That's what made it so important, right? That adversity. So, like, what I'm going through now, the fact that they're not letting me, like, now, once again, my teammates were in Doha, World Championships, the Olympics, this Olympic, and I had to watch them run, you know what I mean? Like, and honestly, though, even going through all that, my hardest workout of this year was after the phone call, after the email. And I said, Blake, we're sorry, even though you took 5th this year and even though you earned your right to qualify and go to World Championships, you cannot go. Right, because the Olympic Committee is reviewing your blades. So what do I do? Do I sit and pout and pity and say this isn't fair and oh woe is me and they have their legs and I don't and I deserve it? Like what am I getting done? Yeah, I strap my legs up, I put my legs on, I show up at the track the next day as hard as it was, and because I know it's important. Because if I quit, they win. If I quit, they win. So I got to keep showing up as if the Olympics are tomorrow with the same intensity, the same drive, the same mindset to grind it out, to put the mindset in. So when I do get the phone call, because eventually I'm going to get the run.
Of course.
Eventually I'm going to get the run. So when I do get the phone call, I'm going to be world record status, hopefully one of the fastest men in the world. Like that's what I tell myself, and I tell people seriously. I'm not joking around. I want to be the fastest man in the world. Yeah. Point blank period. I want to be an Olympic champion.
I want you to be. We had the fastest man in the world. Because you run the 400, right?
Yes, 400.
And the 200?
The 200. I do,
Okay.
4 and the 2.
You're like Michael Johnson.
Yeah, Michael Johnson. So my
Yeah.
200 time is 20.9. So it's not
fucking crazy, dude. That's
so it's
so
not
fast.
like, you know what I mean, Usain Bolt, but my 400 is 44.38 seconds.
That's crazy.
So yeah, so the run I want to go 43 seconds this year, then
Yeah.
go 43. I want to be, you know what I mean, in the Olympics, that final race, that last 100 meters, the 400-meter race. If I want to be on that line where people have to, you know how you have to stand up just to see who's gonna win, or even if you're watching on TV, you stand up because you're so excited, even though you can watch it. Like, I want to be in the race.
Where the 20 Olympics is where?
Tokyo, 2020 Olympic
Okay.
Games, Tokyo. And then pretty interesting, after Tokyo, we have World Championships for track and field.
Right.
They're gonna be here in Oregon, in America.
Oh, no way.
And it's gonna be the first time in a long
I
time.
bet Oregon probably is that. I mean, that's.
They're building like $1 billion track right now.
Oh, they're building it?
Yeah, building a brand new track for World Championships. They're gonna have Olympic trials there this year to test it out.
Right.
And then they're gonna have World Championships.
So when are the qualifiers?
The qualifiers are in June of 2020.
Okay.
So we don't know. You won't know until you go to the Olympics till 2 months before the Olympic Games. Yeah. So I mean, we've had athletes before in the past who've broken world records a week before the trials or national championships. Get there, hit a hurdle, get sick, injury, whatever, and don't get to go. Yeah. And it's kind of like you got to. I mean, and that's what I love. And I'm sure you probably see that too in the business. You got to be on in that moment at that time.
Yeah.
And that's why you practice so much. That's why I practice so much, because when it's time, it doesn't do me no good if you have your best set, or I have my best practice when nobody sees it. I got
always happens.
Hey, right? And it always happens, right? You have your best jokes, the best set,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? For me, I have my best practice, my best run when nobody's there. But I got to do it when the lights are on, when I have everybody's attention, you know what I mean, that cares, that in this moment, it's 45, 44, 43 seconds. I got to be there.
Yeah.
I got to give them the best performance they've ever seen in their life. And that's why it's, you know what I mean? That's why we just grind it out for that one moment.
Yeah, that's like I don't know, Alex, do you feel this way? Like comics will like record our sets because, like, you know, you got to send tape to people. And it's always like when I'm recording I should record it all the time, but we don't always because of various reasons. But like, it's always the ones that I didn't record that I'm like, fuck, dude, like I did so good.
Yeah.
And then when I record it, someone's heckling in the back or a joke doesn't hit as hard, and you're like, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
So like, literally, like we really should record all the time, but like there's just always elements, and it's just like, fuck, dude. But or then like you will have that big show, and then like you just don't do well.
Oh man, that's the worst. Oh, I hate that. I hate that.
But,
I do motivational speeches, and I've done speeches before, and I'm just like, that was terrible. Like, what was I? You know what I mean? Some people, but you know, one thing for me is like I realized like being on like when I go on stage and walk away, like when I used to get into speeches, I was like, I'm going to motivate the whole school, and every person in the crowd is going to stand up every time. I'm going to get a standing ovation. You know what I mean? It's going to be tears every time.
Right.
And I would never forget, I was at some school, high school, and like I was speaking, I was like telling my story, and the kids were just like texting.
That's the worst.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or somebody was just like one kid was asleep, snoring. You know what I mean? I'm just like telling my deep, dark, giving my best material, right?
Right.
And it frustrated. I was so upset and so mad, right? This whole speech. And I got done, and like at the end, one little kid came up to me and was like, dude, thank you for what you did and the information that you gave me, because I'm going to use that and apply it to my life. It saved my life and changed my life for forever. So I walked away from it like, you know what? At least one life got changed in that moment, or at least one person thought it was funny, or at least one person enjoyed my entertainment, what I brought today. And that's how I kind of just walk away from that point on. Like, you know what I mean? You can't save the world. It sucks, but you can't. But if you can save one person, you know what I mean, in that moment, or one life, or one mindset, or make somebody happy, or if it's one, a mission accomplished.
Those are the best stories for me, when like you know, like I want people to like me and follow me, but like I talk about my dad and like his drug use and all that stuff in my set, and like it's cool when people are like, oh, you're funny, and or they'll buy stuff off me after a show, but I do appreciate, and this is why I also like I make it a point, like especially if I'm performing in a city where I've never performed before, like I want to tell my story, because I learned that, like, as much as you don't think about it, like my dad was into meth, and when I talk about it, that's one of the things where like people will come up to me afterwards and be like, you know what, thank you so much. You know, my dad went to prison for selling meth, or my dad did this, and like it's cool that you can talk about it.
That's
like,
huge.
And I'm like, yeah, and it's like it's
Mm.
funny, but like I appreciate that they felt like that connection with me,
Right, right.
and that like I showed them like, yeah, like we've been through these things, but I'm still doing what I want to do. I'm still
Right.
living my dreams because why not?
Right,
Like,
but the difference is you have the courage to stand up there and tell your truth.
yeah.
I mean, you know how many people have truth to tell.
Oh, for sure.
And are too afraid, like are too embarrassed.
Now, I didn't know about
you know what I mean?
your cocaine thing.
Yeah,
I appreciate you
Oh,
sharing that
absolutely,
with us.
dude. I'm like I did it. I made a
Yeah.
mistake. I made a huge mistake,
Yeah.
like publicly,
Yeah.
a public mistake. But it did, and it's crazy because that huge mistake, and I realized the same characteristics that I used to overcome being born without legs are the same characteristics I use beating this addiction and
Yeah.
drugs and alcohol and being suspended, right? Like the same, it might look or shaped or packaged in a different form or foundation. Same characteristics.
Yeah.
Perseverance, determination, grind, never quit. Like all these things that I learned being born without legs, I apply that to my life and everything that I go through, and I'm learning more and more and more and more.
Right.
But the one thing that I've realized, I have to be truthful with myself. My truth has saved me. When I try to put this cape on and try to be Superman and try to do it all, like at the time I thought I was trying to be a face of the disabled community.
Uh-huh.
I thought I was trying to be an ambassador, but I wasn't. I was being a fraud, right? Because I was just saying what sounded good.
Right.
I want to be, you know what I mean? I'm saying what you want to hear to get me through, but I wasn't doing the actions deep down.
Right.
Now I'm doing the actions, and by doing, my actions speak louder than words. So by running 44.3 and being a nationals and breaking world records, that's my actions. I'm showing you instead of talking about it. I'm just gonna show you,
Right.
and by doing that, that's what gets me excited. But your truth and being truthful, saves other people, because now people can come to you and say, "Wow, I didn't know you went through that." You going through that gives me a different perception or perspective on how I view that. But we have to be truthful and honest with ourselves, and that's really the hard part. Not that hard.
That's like a thing now too.
Oh, man.
Is like everyone, like, you know, obviously social media is like a big thing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's so many now, but the one thing, you know, Gary Vee.
Yeah, I love Gary. Man.
Well, his thing is like, you know, everyone tries to like, obviously, like, especially like Instagrams and specifically, it's like it's all our highlights.
Right.
And
look how
you know,
great my life.
Look at my amazing vacation destination, or look at like sold out show, and it's like you should actually just share the real stuff too.
Yeah.
You know, like who you're flossing for, who you're doing that.
Yeah.
And so like I kind of realized that, like, and I was like, yeah, like, so I'll share like a rejection email I got, or I'll be like, hey, this is the fucking rest stop that I slept at last night because the comedy club isn't paying for my hotel, and so I got to save money. Or like, hey, this is like, I had a show, this is a couple months ago, in Pasadena, and 2 people showed up to the show, and so they canceled the show. And so like, I'm like, hey, this is me at my show that 2 people came to.
Yeah.
And so, but I noticed that when you are just honest, instead of just like, I mean, yeah, like you can still share your highlights.
Absolutely.
But also sharing just like the pitfalls and like that like just sharing those things.
Yes.
People tend to relate to you more, empathize with, because they're like, oh yeah, this is real shit.
Yeah, this is real stuff.
Yeah.
You know what? That's funny because I went through that too. You know what I mean? Like they're able to your authenticity. It allows them to attach and say, you know what? And then once they attach, now you have them in.
Yeah.
Now you have them. You know what I mean? Once you can draw them in and say, hey, I've been through what you've been through. I've been rejected like you've been. We've all been rejected. We've all taken L. I've took an L like you took an L.
Yeah.
Right? Then once they were like, oh, you have? Then you can say, wow, this is what I did to get out of that L. Or this is what I learned from the L. Then you have their attention. Once you have their attention, you can dump on them and unload on whatever you want in that moment to them. But it comes with the authenticity of saying, this is who I am. And that's what was hard for me, is saying, wow, I'm not perfect. Like, wow, but dang, I do need to go talk to somebody. Wow, maybe I do have a problem. Like, man, wow, maybe like I try to be this perfect, keep a smile on my face at all times type of person.
Right.
So I was drained. I drained myself to where I had to speak truth to myself. Like, I'm not happy in this moment. And then when speaking that truth, I was able to reevaluate my life and really evaluate my goals to where my goal is my why is so big right now. It's not from a race. Remember
Eric Thomas.
Yeah, my why.
Our
What
brother,
what is
yeah.
your why? Like my why back in the moment was, you know what I mean, before, in 2012 it was to win medals, to be on TV, to
Right.
make my mom and dad proud, and you know what I mean, to make sure society sees me as successful, right?
Yeah.
But that was my whys, and I accomplished those things. Then
Right.
once I accomplished them, what was next for me? Then that's why I ended up in the rabbit hole. But now I set my goals and set my life and make that why so big that it never stops. It never quits. And every day that I wake up, I'm excited. Like my why is the kid in Africa or China or Asia who's being discriminated against because he's missing his leg or his arm or because he has a disability being told no. Like I got to get up and break world records so they can see my story and get motivated and say, wow, Blake was able to overcome that. You know what I mean? So if he can overcome that, I got to get moving.
I feel like your story is motivating to just everybody. Period. I mean, like nothing against like disabled people, but like just everybody. Like just fucking. It could be so much worse. Like you have your health, you have your limbs, you have your this. Like
you
just
have
fucking
you
go
have
after
it all. Go after it, and that's it. That's it. That is just like get up and go after it. And like if you can just get up and go after, no excuses. Kind of go back to like
no
trying
excuses, man.
like, and if you gotta acknowledge them just to make yourself feel better, you know what I mean. Talk about it, bring them out. You know what I mean. But set them like as soon as you walk out that door, set those excuses to the side. Like leave them in the house and have this mindset is that I'm gonna grind and I'm gonna get it and I'm not gonna stop until it happens. If you can just have that mindset, doors and barriers, mountains will move. You'd be surprised.
I love it, man. Dude, where can people find you on social media?
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram. It's Leepster. It's LEEPSTER. I'm on Facebook and Twitter.
Do you tweet?
Yeah, not really.
Yeah.
I'm so much on the track. I do bad enough on Instagram.
Twitter's hard, man.
It's so hard. I'm not clever enough.
I have to be. I'm not either. Like I'll tweet. Like I still do it because as a comedian, like kind of have to. But like I'll tweet something and then I'll be like, oh, this is hilarious, and then nobody responds. And you're like, fuck you guys. And then I'll retweet like, and then I'll tweet like, oh, poop this morning, 4 retweets, and you're like, okay, well, you know what? Fuck all you
I hate
guys.
it. So I got one for you. So when I'm when I post a video, right, of me breaking the world record, running on, you know what I mean, running on a treadmill 25 miles an hour. People are like, oh, that's awesome, that's cool, oh, that's pretty cool, right? I post a video of like me popping my legs off, jumping on a playground and sliding through a slide and falling off of that. Blows up.
The word
goes
I know.
viral. It goes viral. So I'm like, I gotta give the people what they want.
Yeah,
it's just
it's
my
so
legs
weird.
are coming off. That's
The
it.
same thing with me. Like I'll post a video like of like a comedy bit or something. And I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. People were, and then or I'll post a picture of me like dancing, just dancing.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
That's hilarious.
fucking. And you're like, you know what, dude?
That's the one.
I can't plan it out. I just do whatever.
Authenticity, man. That's it,
dude. Thank you so much for for showing up.
Thanks,
and for
brother.
Fucking lighting some fire under me and for everybody. Dude, best of luck to you.
Thank you.
We're all gonna be looking for you.
It's gonna be epic, guys.
And it's gonna be in Tokyo.
Yeah, Tokyo
In July,
August. The trials will be in June in Oregon of next year. Then Tokyo will be in August of 2020 of next year, and that's when history will be made.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm saying it now.
You heard it here first on the Camera Adds 10 Pounds podcast. Like I said, thanks so much for coming in. You guys, I don't know when this is going to air, so just follow me. Follow me on social media if you want to see me in your town. My road dates will be on my website, petersurs.com. And this has been the Camera Adds 10 Pounds. Thank you so much. Tune in next time, guys. Thanks. Bye.
Sweet.